Jimi G's Anomaly, the podcast. Appearing on today's show is MarQ Andrew Speq of the Detroit-based band Sweet Crystal. This amazing band has been together for 50 years, and in 2024, they celebrated their Golden Jubilee year. The band has opened for Bob Seger, Nazareth, Black Oak, Arkansas, Foghat, and more. But the most amazing thing is they've won 26 Detroit Music Awards. Their motto is reaching the world one song at a time. So sit back and enjoy. This is going to be a very entertaining and cool podcast with our continued focus on the Detroit sound. Now your host, Jim Lazak. Welcome to another edition of Jimi G's Anomaly, the podcast. Yes, and I am so stoked today to have in the studio the Q, who is known as MarQ Andrew Speq, leader of the band Sweet Crystal.
Beautiful. It's like we knew what we were doing.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show.
I've been watching this show for a while. I really like I like the focus that you have on here, but I was looking forward to your coat. You've dressed down for me. Thank you.
No, well, actually, the story is that right now it feels like 105 degrees outside, and this Detroit is it, because Detroit is it. The purpose of this podcast is to focus and shine light on the Detroit sound. And also, my daughter, who used to have a show here on CMN television, Julia's World, she runs Luna Bella Media and does work for Detroit Is It. And she gave me this shirt. I'm like, oh, I'm going to wear it to the Speq.
You're a good dad.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, so, Sweet Crystal, you guys have been around a long time. You're celebrating your 50th year in the Metro Detroit area as a band.
As a band, 5 decades of the music and message, which reminds me, I brought you a little swag today. This is our official 50 years Golden Jubilee celebration in 2024 of 50 years of the band Sweet Crystal. And I wanted to give you one of these. They're limited. There's not a lot of them.
Oh, man.
You could sell them on eBay and probably put your daughter through college.
No, I would never sell something like this on eBay. This is
we had a good friend,
so
David Dillingham makes these for most of the big acts that come through town, and he surprised us at one of our jobs and presented it to us, and we're just touched that somebody would take the time out of their lives to celebrate what we've done. So it was very cool. And like I said, there's not a lot of those around. So you have one.
Thank you so much. I mean, I really do appreciate that. The Jubilee year was last year.
That was 2024. We started, the three of us that started the band, myself, keyboards, lead vocals, Bill Blatter on guitar, Steve Weezer on drums, started in 1974. Right out of high school. And what's kind of funny is Steve and Bill actually played in high school for a couple of years, so they've been together longer than Sweet Crystal. And we passed their high school on the way over here today from our house. I drove by and said, I know this area. This is where we first started rehearsing, right off of 14 Mile and Southfield in Beverly Hills. I said that was the first place we got together. So it's just kind of fun to see some 5 decades later, the three of us are still together. The newest guy, Marty Kukar on bass guitar, has been with us about 7 years now.
That's being shown on the screen right now on the right, right?
Yep, very nice. And he's number 10 or number 11 for bass players. We went through a lot of them, a lot of Spinal Tap moments in our life with bass players. But Marty's been with us for 7 years now, so we're a pretty solid core. And
that's you on the left.
Yep, the guy with the keys on one side, and then Steve Weezer, the drummer, right there, and of course Bill Blatter, who does most of the heavy lifting of all the songs. When I write songs, I always write with guitars in mind, which is kind of amazing because I'm basically a keyboard player. But the keyboards are frosting on the cake, and the guitars are the cake.
Well, I was targeting to have you on this podcast, and you had commented on another podcast that you'd like to be on. It just warmed my heart because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
one of the reasons why I really started following you is I saw some of your pictures on Facebook of your studio, and you have a lot of keyboards. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what I'm thinking? I'm like, why can't he be my friend? He's got, I don't know, thousands of keyboards. So really, how many keyboards do you have?
Currently in the studio, there are 17, and two of them are controllers that don't do anything other than control other ones. But there are 17 currently active keyboards in the studio. I've gotten rid of most of the modules that I collected over the years. We did a show once where I added everything up, and it came to 56 different sound sources over the course of my career. But mostly I sell a lot. I try things, and if I like them, I keep them. And if not, I don't usually send gear back, but I will end up selling them at a very reduced cost so that somebody else is blessed by what I tried to play with. And it's been interesting. I have a few vintage keyboards still around, but most of the original gear is gone, which is too bad, because the Mini Moog that I bought in 1976 for $650, which was a lot of money in 1976,
yes,
for a guy who didn't have a job, just had a band, and I ended up selling that a few years ago for almost $3,000. And the reason I sold it is because the upkeep on it was horrendous.
Which keyboard was that?
It was the Mini Moog, the original Mini Moog, and but I never played it live because it was too flaky, and I had to keep repairing parts on it, and it always cost quite a bit of bucks just to get it right. And I finally just said, you know what, I'm never going to use this. I should find somebody who would benefit from it. And a gentleman from New York flew here, bought it, and then took a train back home, so he didn't have to put it in the airplane. He just bought a seat for him and the keyboard and took it back home. So I think he found a good home.
Well, back in 1980, my brother had a lot of gear. I'm a guitar player, but he had the Ensoniq Mirage, the Ensoniq ESQ1, a Mini Moog, a big EV speaker, and a Rhodes 88. And, well, when he was working, I was down there with my friends using his gear.
That Rhodes is a heavy keyboard, too.
Oh, it is. But, the Mini Moog, you said it was problematic. I've never had any problems with my brother's. Was that an early model Mini Moog?
I think it was number 26.
Oh, wow. It doesn't get... What year was number 26 made?
It would have been in 1972.
Okay, so
I was the second owner. I bought it from a band that was out of Kentucky, as a matter of fact. And he was playing in the area, and I just heard he was thinking of selling it, and we met up, and I bought it. And what happens with those is, besides the oscillators going out of tune, you have to stay on top of that. But the keys trigger a gold filament, and that's what makes the connection that makes the tone. And you have to keep cleaning the gold because it tarnishes, and eventually it wouldn't stay in tune. It would drift. You'd hit it once and it would trigger 3 or 4 times. So you have to take the whole thing apart, use a pencil eraser, and erase the tarnish. So it got to be a lot of work.
I just read an article about that yesterday about the Oberheims, that they had the same issue. You had an Oberheim, right?
No, I never had any Oberheims at all.
Oh, okay.
No, but I did have the Mirage and the ESQ and the ESQ-M.
Remember the orchestra hits, and they were on a floppy disk?
Yeah, you had to load everything on a floppy, so there's only so many sounds you could get out at a time. But I used the Mirage live for quite a while, and I got very adept at slamming in a thing with one hand and getting it loaded while you're playing something else, and then there it was, and you got down to it.
How did you celebrate the Jubilee year, and what exactly is the Jubilee year?
Well, Jubilee is a biblical term, and it's something that it's from Israel, and basically every 50 years in their culture, your debts are erased. Anything that you might have lost during those 50 years, like land or possessions, are given back to you. And so that's like a rebirth of who you are, and that's been something that's going on through the ages. And so we looked at it as our Jubilee was our 50th year together, and so we made a point of celebrating every live gig and letting people know this is what it was all about. We would give away all sorts of giveaways, T-shirts, and wait a minute. XL, baby.
Oh, man.
Here's one of our logos. Here's a T-shirt for you.
Thank you so much.
There
you
you
didn't
go.
have to do that.
You got to do it. That's what Jubilee's all.
Crystal
There you go. That's what Jubilee is all about. You just give back, And so that's how we looked at it.
Thank
We
you.
felt very blessed to still be together. We still like each other. We still rehearse most every weekend, even though we've been doing this for so long, because we have a lot of music in us.
Yes.
And we're very lucky that technology today allows you to just record on a thumb drive.
Yes.
Where we used to burn it to CD while we jammed.
Yeah.
And, so we've got stacks of CDs to go through. And
Yeah, I had one of those Red Book burners. Is that what you're talking
yes,
about?
exactly.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
you would just burn it as we rehearse. Now
Yeah.
we'll go back and listen to some of these songs, and sometimes they're pointless jams, but other times we will come across a lick or a set of chords,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we just kind of go, what was that? And then we got to relearn it because nobody can remember.
Yeah,
But,
I have thousands of songs.
Isn't
on,
that something?
7 terabytes of music. Wow. And you're going to hear it soon.
you're going to need more than a 1 hour podcast for 7 terabytes of music. I think you'll be
Well, I decided to pick 12 of the
good for
the
you.
ones I thought were the best, and there's stuff that I already put out on YouTube. So my plan is to release some of my music very soon on Apple, Spotify, everywhere music's
Sure.
sold. I'm going to release all the stuff that's already been released, plus one new song a month. How do you go about it? How do you decide what to release and how to release it? You're working on your 7th album right
Eighth.
now? 8th.
Yeah, Sweet Crystal 8 is on the horizon, which is where that song that we were talking about earlier off mic, the Whatever's Needed, Whatever It Takes, that was like the first. Yeah, that's the concept for the album cover I just came up with. And it's pretty dynamic, if I do say so myself. It really is very eye-catching. You can see the infinity symbol there, which is funny. If you turn it sideways, it's an infinity symbol. You turn it
Yeah.
up and around, it's an 8. So we just said, well, you know what? Maybe on the back we'll print it sideways. So no matter how you look at it, you just know that we just keep going and going and going. Yeah. So that'll be the next CD. It'll have 8 tracks on it. If you go back to Seventh Heaven, it had 7 tracks on it. If you go back to Got Your 6, there were 6 tracks on it. So now you begin to see what we're doing.
Well, so I was at the Vatican last year. We spent 3 weeks. Actually, we were there a year ago. Maybe even a year ago today at the Vatican. I was really impressed with the Vatican, and I noticed that the hall outside the Vatican, though, it's almost shaped like the Omega symbol.
Really? All right.
You know, where the Pope's house
Yeah.
is and all that, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And I like that you incorporated that into your 8th album cover, the infinity
Yes.
part of it. So getting to your music, there's a song that you premiered on April 3rd, as I recall, 2024. It was called Whatever Is Needed, Whatever It Takes. And on the video, it says, how to follow up a successful single launch. How about cutting an edge-driven AI video of the song? And I saw this, and it's really killer. Tell us about it.
A friend of ours from Traverse City actually has an AI production company, and we originally went in and shot a whole bunch of footage of the band playing the song, just doing a mock-up of it. And we looked at the footage and we thought, you know what, I don't know if people still need to see us because we put live footage out all the time. And so I reached out to Nate and I just said, what do you need to make an AI video? And he says, well, what do you got? And I said, well, I could send you all this footage and you tell me. So I sent it to him and he put that thing together on his own. Everything that's on there totally surprised us. We kind of just let him run with it because that's his forte. And we look at it now. I still watch it, and I'm just amazed that there are little things in there that you don't see the first time. If you really got to pay attention to stuff that comes in and goes out.
Yeah.
But we loved it. We just went, well, that's kind of neat, and it's maybe not cutting edge for some people, but for us, we said we had never thought about doing AI.
Well, I love it, and I think you're going to love it, too. So let's check it out. This is Whatever Is Needed, Whatever It Takes.
We are born to stand together. We are here to help the poor. We are meant to feed the hungry, doing all we can and then do more. Guided and directed soldiers in his army, defenders of the cross, standing on a word that's true, his promise to always do whatever is needed, whatever it takes. Families of the fallen, it's for you we say a prayer. Hearing of your heartache, please know we truly care. To give up seems so easy, to stay this course too hard, but you'll find the load gets lighter when you give it up to the Lord. Yeah, and start standing on a word that's true, on his promise to always do whatever is needed, whatever it takes. Now listen, in all we say and all we do, the light of Christ will come shining through, sins forgiven, lives renewed. This is what he will do for you. The path that lies before us, it offers a new start. This is how we change the world, with open arms and loving hearts. Oh, play it, Billy. Guided and directed, no longer lost. We are soldiers in his army, defenders of his cross, standing on a word that's true, his promise to always do whatever is needed, whatever it takes, whatever is needed, yeah, whatever it takes.
That is most impressive. What I really like about that is you, Bill Blatter, and Martin Kuchar, they get into this like boom, ba-do-do-do-do. And for me, I just think that in music, when I hear that, the bass guitar, the keyboardist, and the guitarist all doing the same thing, it just got so much power to it.
It was an homage. It was an homage to Led Zeppelin. That was kind of the mindset behind it. I said, I want to make this thing sound big, and something that we normally don't do things like that. We do more production and more layers. And it's a lot of fun, and it's a fun song to play live too. I mean, it just hits hard right from the first few notes.
It's absolutely cool. You have 26 Detroit Music Awards.
That's right.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's amazing to me that we've got any, let alone the amount that we have. But I think if people don't know what the Detroit Music Awards, that's the entrance to the studio, just in case you thought I was lying. What I don't think people realize about Detroit Music Awards, those were awards given by the people in the industry, the people you play with, the people that know who you are and decided that for one reason or another you were the best for that particular category. A lot of times people have thought, well, it's just a popularity contest, and it's not. That's not how it works at all. We feel the reason we have as many DMAs as we have is because people see that we are legitimate in who we are and what we profess. It's all in the gospel Christian category, so we don't win them in the rock categories or the pop categories. It's all gospel Christian because that is the basis of our music. We stand on a message that we've been doing since 50 years now, and I just think we're awarded these awards because people see that we are truly a proponent of the music and the message, and I just think it's cool.
Does that mean that you actually have to be out playing the clubs to win a Detroit Music Award?
You know what? I think that's a part of it. You have to have some sort of recognition. I mean, because if you just put out a song on Spotify, well, there's 11,000 songs daily put out on Spotify. Who's going to know? So yeah, I do believe that playing out as much as we did, and when the band first started out, that was our livelihood. We played 5-6 nights a week, 3, 4, 5 sets a night, and we did that for almost 10 years as a band, Sweet Crystal, and we toured at 6.5 tons of gear, 4-man road crew, and that was who we were. It finally got to the point, though, where the live original music scene began to fade, especially in the Detroit area, and so we stopped playing a lot of gigs and went into studio work. And did a lot of that. Some of the guys went back to school, got their degrees. I just stayed doing freelance work for the automotive companies, doing running sound. And Billy and I just stayed together with a studio. We built a couple different studios and just kept writing songs and putting them together. The Still Standing CD came out 10 years after the Power and Glory CD. So it took that long before we did something again.
So tell us about Nightcrier Studios.
Well, Nightcrier Music is my baby. I've had it for 50 years now, too. There's the keys to my kingdom. So that's one of the iterations. As you can tell, everything's on wheels.
And that's great.
I roll things in and out as I want to play them, or if I get a new keyboard, then I'll put it on something I can bring over, because otherwise, if it sits in the corner, you don't get back to it. So it's a lot of fun for me to be able to mix and match. I have probably 5 different rigs depending on the band that I'm playing with live. Sweet Crystal, of course, is my main love, and where I spend most of my time and energy on. But I play keys with David Winans and the Pie Group, and that has a certain sound that he likes, so I've got a rig for that. I play keys with a new classic rock band called Secondhand Mojo, which is doing a lot of cool gigs, and that's basically piano and organ, so that's got a different rig for it. I do a solo show just myself, and I have one keyboard that allows me to play all of my band's backing tracks while I perform and play on top of it. And we just started something new called The Saints, which is going to be more of a church-oriented blues and rock with Tasha Owens. You know Tasha Owens?
Yeah.
So she's singing with us.
Phenomenal singer.
Yep. David Winans playing bass with that, and a couple of different guitar players. So every project calls for different rigs. And so, as you saw in the studio, I've got different rigs.
Absolutely. I'm thinking about maybe twisting the show a little bit instead of making it a podcast, actually going in the studio, in the big studio here, and bringing bands like your band Mojo. Secondhand Mojo, and Sweet Crystal, and some of the other bands that have been on the show. So, listeners, Jimi G at JimiGProductions.com. Shoot me a note and tell me if you'd appreciate that, if you'd like it, or if you prefer the podcast. And I do appreciate the comments we've been getting. I think I'm going to do a podcast just by myself and read some of the comments to you. But so going back to you, you've opened for...
No, let's talk about you.
No. This is about you. This is about you, and you've opened for some big acts, like I say in the intro. Bob Seger, tell us about some of the big acts and which ones, or did they all stay in your mind?
Well, when we first started out, we were lucky enough to have an actual booking agency. I don't know if there are booking agents anymore, to tell you the truth, the way the industry works. But back in the day when we were with a company called Diversified Management Agency, people like Ted Nugent was part of that. They booked us on shows. And Bob Seger was a New Year's Eve show. It was us, a band called The Dictators, which was a spin-off of Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, wow.
And Bob Seger, of course, was the headliner. And that was New Year's Eve out in Kalamazoo, Wing Stadium out there. And it was 10,000 people, the biggest crowd we'd ever play for. And I was just petrified.
10,000 people.
I'd never played for anything. I couldn't even imagine what it was like. At the time, I wore glasses on stage, so I just took them off so I couldn't focus past 2 rows in the crowd because I couldn't see past that. And so I had no stage fright that I thought I was going to have. But
so you've been playing for a long time.
Yes.
Do you ever get stage fright still? And what was your worst experience with stage fright?
You know, the thing that worries me nowadays, and has always been a worry, is will the equipment work? I'm not worried about me. I can forget lyrics, But if it's an original song, nobody's going to know. So I'm real quick at making them up on the spot if for some reason I blank. But I'm always concerned that the gear is going to work because, like we've discovered today, stuff breaks down and glitches, which is the G in Jimi G. It was a glitch. I'm more worried about the stuff not screwing up on stage.
So the people may not know.
Yes.
Right? We did say that it's 105 degrees outside, or it feels like. But also, this is our 4th time shooting this podcast because we've been knocked out because of Mother Nature. And they said a tornado was near the facility.
And the power went out, and we're going,
Yeah, we're like, okay, we're in the middle, all of the lights go off, and we're like, oh, man, all right. 4th time is a charm, right?
Oh, it's amazing. But, yeah, you could hear the thunder and the rain on the roof and stuff. And all of a sudden we went, I didn't know it was going to do that. And your engineer and I walked out front and went, yeah, this doesn't look good.
So did your equipment ever fail you?
Yeah, stuff breaks down.
What happened?
Probably the worst thing, we were playing with Black Oak, Arkansas, doing a festival, and this is back in the day when I carried an actual Hammond, the big ones with that were engine run, and they had a generator that cycled, so the power would come up, and the power would go down, and the organ would come up in key, and then it would drop. It'd drop 3 notes, and it'd come up and go up 3 notes. So the entire set, that was my main keyboard. And I'd be playing it, and out of tune, out of tune, out of tune. You just have to sing, and then it'd come back down, and then it'd go back down. That was awful. That was
you never got wobbly knees?
No, you get butterflies, but what we're doing is very special. For us, it's a mission, and the message is very important. So I know that it may sound cliche, but God is with us, and we're just going to go out and do what we can do. But if it breaks down, you soldier through. You don't stop. You don't make it look like that.
Right.
And it is what it is. And I've had shows at some of the clubs where all of a sudden the connection from the keyboards just was lost. It's just gone. And I could see them scrambling, trying to figure out where it stopped. But luckily, I'm also the lead singer, so Billy can still play, Marty can play, Steve can play. And
Start singing louder.
I just become the lead singer.
Sing loud.
So that's what I worry. I worry about gear more than anything else.
Yeah, no. So I was listening to your video, The Other Side of Calvary.
Oh, yeah.
Calvary.
Yep.
Calvary is the name for the stone Jesus was crucified on?
Yeah, the hill. And that's what it was called. And so we wrote a song thinking, even if you're not a Christian or you're not a believer, you know the story of Jesus and what he did for us. But we started thinking about, what comes after? So once you know that happened, so what are we supposed to do with this information? And so we wrote the song saying, this is what you do. This is what comes after the sacrifice at Calvary. And so it's just our way of explaining who we are and what we're doing.
So let's listen to it. When I listened to this, I heard like overtones of Emerson, Lake and Palmer on the synth. Tell me what you think.
Nice.
All right, let's check it out. This is The Other Side of Calvary.
Imagine all the things we'll see on the other side of Calvary. On the other side of Calvary. What a glorious place to be. Imagine all the things we'll see on the other side of Calvary. We're on the other side of Calvary. The other side of Calvary. The other side of Calvary. The Father, Son, and you and me.
What a powerful message. I personally feel that what the world needs more of right now is love, peace, and understanding. A lot of the pictures you're looking at right now are pictures I was going to show by themselves. But since they're in the video, we're just going to scroll and see. How did you come up with this logo? It's just phenomenal.
The never-ending video ending.
How did you come up with the logo?
The logo originally was created by a student of my wife, Jan. She was a high school teacher in Dearborn Heights for 20-some years before she became the assistant principal. And she had a student named Lee Land, and he was an art student, and she just happened to talk with him about it, and he came up with the diamond with the 5-carat rock imprinted on it, because that was our logo at the beginning, because there were 5 of us. And then later on, when we finally found our current path of the Christian rock that we do, we added the arms of the cross to it, and now it's stood the test of time. So it was Lee's design, and we've kept it pretty much. We try to put it in every release, and of course all our merchandise.
It's beautiful. We're going to show it on the big screen in just a second.
Nice.
But I saw that video first on a show called Hyped Up Live Sessions with Leonard T. Money Green.
Yes, T Money. Yes, he's been a big supporter of Sweet Crystal. It's a lot of fun to go down to his studio and do those shows.
How did he find you?
You know what? He played with a couple different people that we knew through the years. The Hype Studio, though, a very interesting facility down in the Russell Center, and once T Money discovered who we were, I met him. Jan and I met him sitting on a couch at one of the Detroit Music Awards pre-shows, where they were going to go up and talk about who's coming up, and then he was sitting on a couch with Gail Sue, his wife, and Jan and I came and we just looked at him and said, "Hey, do you mind if we sit with you?" And we sat with him and we just started talking, and it was just as simple as that. We went to that pre-DMA show and we got to be friends, and then Tony would book us every Easter on his show. He said
that's really cool.
He felt good about bringing us on. He said, "I feel like I'm bringing Jesus back into this facility whenever I bring you guys on." So he always brought us right around Easter, and we would do one of his live shows. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the world could definitely use a little bit more of that right now, for sure, I think.
I'll tell you, Jimmy, what's interesting about Sweet Crystal is we don't preach. And that's one thing. And so we've been asked, are you a Christian band? Yes, but we're really just a band of Christians. And we don't preach at people because we've all been turned off by people preaching at us at one point.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm the same way.
But we can reflect our beliefs, and we can reflect what we've gone through. And chances are, if somebody's going through a troubling time, a hard time, somebody in the band has gone through that already. And so then it gives us a chance to talk with them and explain how we got through it.
Right.
The light at the end of our tunnel is probably the same light they can be using. So you don't preach at people, but God will bring people into our lives that we are meant to interact with. And that's kind of where we're hoping people leave a Sweet Crystal show feeling better about themselves and what they've just heard us talk about, sing about on stage.
Yeah. So again, 50 years with this band.
And we still like each other.
And you still like each other. You guys were childhood friends, right?
Steve and Bill were childhood friends. I met them right out of high school, which was in 1974. That's Bill and that's Steve. That's two of the founding members, but they played in bands together for 3 years before Sweet Crystal. Right out of that's when we tell people we got your back. That just kind of proves it right there. Those are lab coats, as a matter of fact.
Love it.
That we got made. One of the teachers at Jan's school was a chemistry teacher, and she was wearing one day, and I said, "Oh, we need those for Sweet Crystal." Well, there you go.
This is taking you back.
That's March of 1973. It's probably more like 1974, but that's what was on that picture. That's the three of us right back then, man. That was got a lot of hair back then.
Which one are you in this picture?
If you're looking at it, I'm the far side with the boots, the tall boots. That's me.
Hey, you look amazing.
Bill's
awesome,
Bill's
man.
next to me, and Steve's in the back there. There we are. Now we're starting to come along. I'm in the back. One of our mini bass players up front.
Is that you in
In the back, right in the middle.
right in the middle?
Yeah.
Ah, look
Mutton
at
chops,
you.
buddy.
You look great.
I had mutton chops. Thank you. There we go. Another bass player, Chris Ng. I'm in the back there, but that's another five. So that was 5 Carat Rock because we were a 5-piece for a long time, dual guitars.
I love dual guitars. And then the infamous mini mode.
There we go. Those were rare. I wish I would have kept that one, but that was one of the first guitars, back in the day. But it had its own mechanical issues. And there's the rig. That's when we're starting down the Christian rock path. As you can see, that took me 3 or 4 hours to set up, get that guy going. And that's me abusing the Hammond on the bottom.
Is that the Stairway to Heaven?
Yeah, that's it. That's mine.
Here's
Oh, my
another photo
gosh.
from 1973.
Oh, there you go. Well, back when I was skinny, I guess.
Where's that taken at?
That was a high school up in Imlay City.
Nice.
That was one of our first gigs, and there's the Hammond, once again, getting abused.
Looks like the gymnasium.
Yes, that's exactly what it would have been.
I love this picture.
That was shot at one of our manager's house in Grosse Pointe, the balcony. And that's the original 3 of us that started this
Yeah.
journey.
And then here's some of your album covers.
Oh, nice. Well,
And that's the
3.
logo,
That's
man.
3. That's the logo, and that's the 3rd release from us.
Oh, we meant to start with the first one.
There you go. So that's Power and Glory was the first thing we released in the first version came out in 83, and then we redid it in 85, and it was produced, engineered, and recorded by Henry Weck, the original drummer from Smoking in the Boys Room, Brownsville Station. So that whole first CD was done at his studio in Ann Arbor called the Old Schoolhouse, and he got us on the map.
That's really super, super cool.
And we're still friends with him. I mean, here he is 50 years later. He's
Are
down.
they out
yeah,
playing?
Brownsville played a couple years ago. We played with them at a veterans benefit, and it was really nice to reconnect with all of them. But as a band, I don't think they're out doing a lot of gigs at the moment. But Henry's still alive and well down in, he might be in Mississippi now or Louisville. I can't remember which one. And Michael Lutz, the guitar player, is out in Ann Arbor. He's still around. They've added Arlen from Salem Witchcraft, if you happen to remember that name.
Yeah,
he was playing
I do.
guitar with them as well. So they still get together.
So out of these 26 music awards that you won with the Detroit Music Awards, can you name them off? Do you have them all memorized, or is it just
no? But I'll tell you, the biggest year was 2013.
Uh-huh.
We swept all 6 categories.
Wow.
And we also got to open the DMA show at the Fillmore.
Oh, nice.
And so that was quite a coup for us to actually be playing live and then to end up winning every single category that we were in.
So I have this one more video I want to play that I think is super, super cool. It's called Power and Glory 1987 Lost Footage. Tell us about that.
Lost footage, Doug Podell, which you may or may not know is the Doc of Rock here in Michigan. He had a show called The Beat, and he actually came out and shot that video for us back in 1987 at a place called the Silver Dollar Saloon in Lansing. So that whole video was shot there, but it disappeared for a real long time. Nobody had any copies of it. We didn't know where it was. Doug didn't know if he still had a copy anywhere, and we came across a VHS tape of it.
Well, I said on the last 2 shows now, and we'll say it again on the 3rd show. The doctor, Doug Podell, I've met him a couple times.
Oh,
I met him
nice.
at Partridge Creek with his lovely wife.
Yes,
and
Sue. Yep.
Very nice people. Love them. But he has done a lot for the musician in Detroit.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know anyone that's done more than him. There's guys like Screaming Scott Randall who have done a lot.
Yes.
Steve Costan and others. You know, we got to be thankful for the Detroit radio scene.
Absolutely. Doug was one of the. My wife and I went down. He used to be at a station down off of Jefferson, and my wife and I went down with the first 45 that we ever produced as a band, and knocked on the door of the radio station. And he came to the door, and we just introduced ourselves, and we handed him this 45. I don't know that's how you did it or not, but that's how we became friends back then. And he's been friends with the bands ever since, and always been a big supporter of who we are.
Was that WLZ?
No, it was before that. It was
W4.
Yes.
W4. That's when Howard Stern was there. Because I actually heard Howard Stern shout out to Doug Podell on his Howard Stern show.
Yes.
He said, nobody knows a ratings book other than Doug Podell. And I'm like, hey, let's give it up for Doug Podell, man. Yeah.
That was it.
So, without further ado, let's listen to this lost footage.
We were so young.
Yeah. Let's check it out.
Question of why.
another great performance by the band Sweet Crystal and
Spandex, baby.
Awesome cue that we have in the studio. So we've got about 10 minutes left on the show. Tell us what you got coming up in 2025 and 2026.
What we're doing is we've got one more single that we're going to be releasing from the upcoming 8 CD. I know I say CD because it's a release, but we still make CDs because they make lovely coasters. And those are great. They're great giveaways at gigs. I mean, because a lot of people don't even have a CD player in their cars anymore. So I don't know if you even want one. But it's a takeaway.
I was on the design team for Ford. We designed audiophile radios, and I remember when management came in and said, "Hey, we're going to get rid of the cassette tape." And then I remember when we were prototyping DAT players in the car and all that, and they never made it into production. Yeah. But then when the discussion came to remove the CD, I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do now, you know?
Stream, that's it, or a USB drive, but it's nowhere near as convenient as being able to throw in a CD that you like, and you can just play the whole thing going down the road.
But vinyl's coming back. Are you going to do any vinyl?
We've talked about it. Yeah. We've talked about doing a best of.
Oh,
just
nice.
on vinyl.
You know,
so and now that we have like Third Man Records here in town, or places that can actually produce those. So that's
is it cost prohibitive for the average person? Like say you own your own recording, so you want to go in there and print, 50 copies.
Yeah, that's still going to cost you some bucks. So you have to make sure you have a market for it, or we're very blessed in Sweet Crystal. We really don't even charge for performances. We like to go to places and play for benefits. A lot of Wounded Warrior, Towers to Tunnel type of things. So we like to show up at where we can do a good. So we really don't charge for anything. So it'd be nice to make those and be able to give them to people. Like Doug Podell, we just talked about. He's a huge vinyl collector. So I'd love to give him something of the band because he's been so
good to you,
supportive of us. Yeah. So we just released our second single from 8. It's called This Way Forever. It's remixed by Chuck Alcasian out at Pearl Sound.
Yeah.
So he remixed this for us, and so far in 4 weeks it's been up. It's over 20,000 streams, which for us is huge. I mean,
I saw that. That was going to be my next question. I was just waiting for you to.
We're not anybody in my estimation, but people are listening to who we are, and that to us is a blessing, which is why the whatever is needed has 207,000 streams.
It's interesting. So, do you think Chuck Alcasian financed some marketing there? Because this podcast itself, which surprises me, it ranges from views like Anthony Bytel's from Scapegoat has 67 views on it, which basically nobody watched.
No,
and then,
I don't think Chuck does any marketing like that. No, he put his signature sound to the tune, as the drums got much more in your face and more powerful, and he did a really good job with bringing the keys up and stuff. But no, I
don't understand.
I think the marketing is just me and God going, all right, we need.
But are you talking YouTube right now? The views?
No, I'm talking. I'm
Spotify,
talking. So the YouTube video has 20,000 views.
Yeah.
The stream on Spotify just reached 1,000. So that's good.
Because just to finish my thought, one of my podcasts has over 30,000 views.
Wow.
The lowest one has 67 last I looked. I don't understand it. Why
I would say that's marketing. I said whoever the 30,000 views were probably put some time and energy and bucks into it, and that's what you have to do, because views mean a return on your investment. The search engine optimization. Who knows
SEO.
That. So that is important. And I know a lot of people may think, well, it's cheating, but it's not. It's the same reason people pay for commercials for their products.
Right.
If you never saw a commercial on TV for Vaseline, you'd never know it existed. I'm just using that as an example. So I don't have any problem with people marketing. What's tough, though, is we're so dependent now as a musician on Spotify and streaming services, and there's no way to make a living at that anymore like there was when we first started out, and we got paid to play everywhere. It's a whole different ballgame unless you're the very top echelon of the business.
Yeah, well, I see, a lot of my friends complaining about the cost of a concert, right? You go to a concert and you sit, in the upper bowl, and you're going to pay, anywhere from $120 to maybe even $400, depending on who the act is. But when you stream their music for free and you take away their revenue stream to support their life and their children, their family, or whatever it is they're doing, you're kind of ripping everybody off. And that's the big problem I have about music. I think there's no other art form on the world where people get ripped off more than today's musician. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, the streaming, the pros of streaming is the fact that we can get our music and message out to places that we will probably physically never be able to go to, and that's huge. The downside is the fact that so many, like we said at one point, 10,000 new songs a day are coming out there, so you can be lost in that ocean immediately.
It's actually more than that.
Is it really?
Yeah, I Googled it. I don't want to give the number out. I think I said it in the last show, but I remember the 10,000 number, but it's significantly higher. And so, like, if you get even 60 views, you're getting attention from someone. In a crowded market.
Somebody is watching, and that's the whole point as a creative, which you are, as I am. You just want your creation to be seen or heard, and that's the big thing. If you're into it for the money, well, God bless you. If you can make money out of it, well, that's great, but that's not our goal.
So you continue the streak. Everybody that's been on the show has said they didn't do it for money and they never got into it for money. But let's face it, money rules the world, right? So you have to have some money. So you hoping that somehow all the effort that you put into this is going to be successful. And I can tell that you put a lot of effort into your music. You are the producer as well. Did you go to college?
No. I did go to college. I went to the University of Michigan.
That's what I thought.
On a scholarship for pharmacy.
Oh, okay. Because I saw as I was researching you for this show to make sure I cover all the topics, I saw some U of M stuff.
Yes.
And that's why I asked you the question, But you can definitely tell that you put a lot of work. Let's say one song of yours, what was the most effort that you ever put in, or how many years or weeks or whatever did it take?
Well, so if you look at our discography, the first one coming out in '83, Still Standing, then came out 10 years later. 3 came out 10 years later. And at that point, we went, if we don't start putting stuff out quicker, by the time we get to the best of, we will be in our hundreds. So then the next CD came out 5 years later. Then the next one came out 3 years later. The next one came out a year later. And so now we are much more fluid and quick about putting music together and getting it out there. And I think that's where the streaming and the platforms allow us to do that.
So I've been mixing without a subwoofer, all right?
Okay.
And I've been struggling with the low end. I've got 12 songs ready to go, but I'm trying to just perfect that low end. And I've been kind of avoiding getting a subwoofer, a matched subwoofer for my speakers, my JBL 3 Series near-field monitors.
Those are good.
Yeah, they're great. So I'm hoping that will speed up my process. But what is it for you that slows it down?
Me.
Yeah, me too.
Is it
the definition of done? It's like I can never just say, oh, this is good enough. I got 12 mixes that are good enough. Most people will never critique them the way I do, but I'm still suffering.
It's amazing to think of that as a creative, because you never stop creating. I think the biggest drawback to me is getting the tracks finished. The last thing we do is vocals, and I'm the vocalist.
Yeah.
So it's up to me to
That's
get in there
interesting.
and do
It's
that.
the last thing.
The last thing. I mean, we have the production. I do the arrangements. I do everything I want to do. I get everybody in there. I get all their stuff recorded just with a scratch vocal so they know where we're at in the tune.
Yeah.
But then it's up to me to go in and do the lead vocals. I do a lot of the harmonies, and then if we have a guest come in. But I'm very picky on my voice, so it takes me
you sound
a lot.
great. Well, we are just about out of time. I'm going to give you one shot here. You're solo here on the camera. Talk to your fans and tell them what you want to say and final thoughts.
Best thing you can do is go to our website, sweetcrystal.com, and just sign up for the email blast that we put out. That'll keep you in sync with our shows, our new releases, anywhere you can find us. We're just here for you. Just contact us about any issues you may have. We're also very easy to talk to. But really, sweetcrystal.com, just realize that we continue to reach the world one song at a time, and that's who we are, reaching out to you. God bless you for that.
And I want to thank you for being here. Thank you so much. God bless you. You're
Thank
a
you,
great person, and I'm so honored to meet you and have you on the podcast. And we'll be back with even more cool guests soon. So stay tuned, and we'll see ya.
You've been watching Jimi G's Anomaly, the podcast. We'd like to thank MarQ Andrew Speq for appearing on today's show. The new podcast theme instrumental jam playing in the background is new music performed by Jimi G's Anomaly, the music project. Stay tuned, new music is coming everywhere music is sold. If you're an artist and would like to feature your craft on this show, send us an email at the email shown on the screen. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.